Good morning, everybody. It's Javier, and I'm excited to be with you here today to share with you important updates as it relates to the school campaign for this week. We're going to get right into it because I have to recap some things that we talked about on Saturday. So I ask for forgiveness for those of you that were there on Saturday, but for the sake of keeping everybody in the same sheet of music, we're going to fly through the first couple of slides that I went through on Saturday as it relates to last week. The whole purpose of this call is to find out what we did last week. How did that turn out? What are we doing this week? And then making sure we maintain accountability on everybody. Now, I'll tell you right now that those that don't plug into the Monday morning calls will not be getting appointments. Very, very simple, because of the simple fact that we can't go chase everybody down for the rest of the week. I think we can all allocate one single hour, and we shouldn't take a whole hour, but even if we do, we can do 1 hour for the rest of the week when it comes to our income and our livelihood. So anybody that's not here, just so you know, I know I'm preaching to the choir, they're not part of the campaign. And I'm sure that people are going to start, whining and complaining. And I get it, things happen, but they're going to have to get their info some other way because this is the way we're going to do it every single time. Let's start with the first few things. First, I just want to go over. We're going to talk about today the application, I should say. This is probably the most important element of this business because, as many of you are seeing already, when you go out there, the hard part is getting the calendar filled. Well, we did that, and I'll show you how we did that in just 1 second. The second portion is the first appointment. We've trained with every single one of you as it relates to what to do on appointment number 1. And the only time you'll have appointment number 2 is when more than likely you're going to take an application. But you have to become, and I emphasize, you're going to have to become well-versed as it relates to appointment number 2, because that's exactly where everything lies. It's all about helping you make money. It's all about you understanding how to bring value to a client, and it's about making sure you know how to do it. So we're going to get into it here in just 1 second as well. Having said that, I want to go ahead and just leave this open because more people are coming in. So we are going to be talking again. Like I said, the important element right here is going to be the actual application. Now, there's 2 ways to do it. A, we can do a paper application and send it in all the way. I don't know why the hell you would do that. The second option is to go ahead and do an electronic application. And just so you know, if you take a paper application, you're going to add about 3 weeks to your pay, because from all paper applications have to be mailed into FFS first. FFS will scan all the applications, upload them to National Life Group, repackage all the applications, and then go ahead and at that point, just simply mail the paper applications to National Life Group. It's going to take forever for you to get paid. Excuse me. And then, like the actual script says, at the end, let me explain to you the process. We're going to take an application in a few weeks. We'll let you know. That is true. It'll take weeks. Whereas with an electronic application, if it's a clean application done the right way, you'll get an answer literally, usually just 6 to 12 hours, no later than usually 24 hours beyond that. And so again, it is crucial for you to understand. It is crucial for you to understand that you should stick to only the actual electronic applications if you want to get answers fast, and you also want to go ahead and get paid fast, and at the same time give your clients an answer short amount of time. I keep getting texts and emails and calls about the Presenters Academy. We are holding a Presenters Academy this coming Saturday. It is Labor Day weekend. So if you did secure a seat and didn't realize it was Labor Day weekend, cancel your seat. Please cancel your seat. So that way we have a waiting list right now of around 14 people. And so that way somebody else can pop up. Don't be that one selfish person that knows damn well you're not going to be there, but you feel good by reserving one of these seats because thinking you're going to learn this through osmosis, through the ether of the world, of the universe. It doesn't work that way. If you can't make it, fine. Just don't take up the seat. We had about 4 or 5 people this past Saturday that registered that never showed up. And that's very selfish because we had a bunch of other people that were trying to get on the actual list and they were not because it was sold out. And as you guys saw, there were empty seats there. On top of that, they put extra chairs. I don't know why, but whatever. We wanted it to be really small and intimate, and it was that way. But again, it's the Presenters Academy is this Saturday. And as mentioned, everybody here should have received a text message letting you know, click here to be added to the event. Some of you did not. Some of you have actually unsubscribed from our text alert list. So therefore, you have to resubscribe. I cannot manually add you due to the spam laws and regulations. We are going to give away the Mastering Influence package from Tony Robbins. The difference between this event versus our last event, I gave this away about a year and a half ago. This time, we're actually going to give you the audio files, the CDs, if you would, but in the file format. It's a 10-day program that I'm not going to get into. Google it, research it. And again, this is very important because I'm telling you, the quickest way to become really, really an expert in this field and be seen as an expert is to become a presenter. And the best way to become a presenter, once again, is to make sure that you would attend the Presenters Academy taking place in Culver City this Saturday. It is Labor Day. So if you have Labor Day plans, you're not going to be in town, cancel your ticket, please. That's all we ask. And we'll go ahead and do that. Those that don't show up to this one after I'm asking you to cancel are just going to get blacklisted from any future events. We just don't need no-shows. And you know who you are. So anyways, to go ahead and do that. And like I said, it's free. This event is 100% free. They were asking to do it in a larger venue, but then we would have to charge. And then, a lot of people are not crazy about that. So if it is what it is. Mastering Influence, you get the workbook, the entire 10-day course, and the audio files are at no charge to you whatsoever. If you did unsubscribe for whatever reason, if you want to resubscribe, I gave this to a few people this past weekend. Simply text FFS to 844-841-9687, or go ahead and just scan that code that's on the screen right now, and that will get you back on the list because we are primarily communicating via text. So if you're somebody that doesn't like text messages, don't subscribe. Very, very simple. But we're going to go ahead and move on. I want to congratulate also Monica Gonzalez. She came in first place and won the cash prize of $250 for locking down the first person to get the 5 actual staff meeting dates. And I just want to take a moment to congratulate her as well. We talked about this not that long ago, and we went out there and did a blitz. Now, the whole essence of a blitz, just so you know, is that we all do something together at the same time, and we do it in a short amount of time. So this past week, we worked from Tuesday because Monday was a bad day. And for some people, Tuesday was a bad day because Monday was closed. The schools were closed. But between Wednesday, Thursday, some Friday, only 2 openings took place on Friday. So really between just Wednesday and Thursday, we were able to secure all these staff meetings of all the schools that you see on the screen right now that I'm going to fly through it. So I congratulate and thank and commend everyone that did their part to go ahead and literally fill up our calendar from now until October. So anybody still opening, which we really shouldn't be opening. Some of you, and you know who you are, you shouldn't be open. You should be getting ready because I'm gonna be holding some private events during the week, and it's gonna be on the last minute notice. So I know that a lot of people won't be able to attend it, and that's okay. But I'm looking for the hardcore people. We're doing in-person application workshops to show you some tricks and hacks and stuff like that, and other things that we're gonna do. Some via webinar, most in person. But the point is that, as you can see, the calendar got filled up real quick by so many people, and I literally can't tell you how proud I am of everybody that did their part. Monica ended up opening up 7 staff meetings. I did 6. Reggie did technically, I think he said 7. George Munoz 4. Anthony LeBlanc 2. Joel Garcia 2. Mike 1. Manny, Chin, Gene, Stephen, Fernando, Joy, Stanley, Walt all had 1, and we're just part of a great example that if we were to go out there, and we're not going to do this again, just so you know, until the month of October, where we're going to go out and hit and fill up our calendar for November and December. And that's it. Only twice that we need to do this in half the year, and our calendars and wallets will be very, very full. So I'm not going to get into that. So 36 schools were open. If we average just 25 teachers per meeting, that's 900 teachers. 78% appointment ratio, that's 702 appointments. If we close just 60% of them, that's 421 sales. If we average just $300 a month IUL, 2,700, that's 1.1 million in target premium right there. And then you decide how much of that you're going to get. So I just want to congratulate everybody as well. Again, what does this mean to you? If you're just at a 70% level, as you can see right here, that gives you enough income, if you would, to hit about, give or take, $1,890 per sale. If you do just 3 a week, that's going to be 12, and then sales a month, which is 22,680, which is just simply an incredible amount. Even if you do just 6 a month, if you're not looking to do at least 6 a month, you shouldn't be on the Monday webinars. No disrespect, you just don't need what we're going to talk about. You can do 1 or 2 here and there on your time off and so on. You don't have to do this. This is for the people that are committed to the cause and are going to be doing what needs to be done. This is the last day also for you to register for the Specialized Markets website. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get out of this real quick and go to specializedmarkets.us because it's changing today. Today is the day. And it's when you go here, you click on the upper right-hand corner under login or register if you want to. I'm going to scroll down here. The calendar has been moved. It's as of right now, it's still on the homepage. We left it on the homepage just because of the blitz we had, but where you're going to find it, you're going to go up to the top and it says schools. Now, when you go to schools, don't choose these pages down here. Just simply click on schools. And when you click on schools, that'll bring you to the school campaign, which is exactly where the calendar is being moved to. But you do need to log in to be able to access this. Where it's at right now, it's accessible by anybody, and that opens us up for liability and also for compliance challenges. So we're going to move it, and everything else is going to be moved behind the firewall. Very, very simple. Also, what we're moving is the bottom portion, which are the LEU. Actually, it's the assignments for all the schools that we were going to go ahead and hit as part of the blitz. Some of you shouldn't be opening up anymore. For the most part, we're done. There are some of you that didn't open anything up for whatever reason. Okay, then go work on the list. But for everybody else, we're done. I'm not going to open up any more schools. We're done. And here you should review it, because if you find your name, you should see the list of schools that you gave me. And the ones in red are the ones that are actually already with the date. If a date is coming, that doesn't count. We need an actual date. Also, whenever you book a school, we need the principal's name, the school. We also need the time of the staff meeting and how many staff members are expected at the actual staff meeting. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we have our very first event with Mr. Mike Ward, that he opened up one in the Koreatown area, that we're going to be in there doing the staff, and it's a very large one as well. So as you can see, a lot of them are already in red, but not everything is here. So you need to let me know, hey, I gave you this school that I opened up and it's not there in red. Let me know. We'll fix it. But everything is going to be gone. It's going to go behind the firewall. It's going to be password protected. And we're going to go ahead and do that as well. The second part that I also want to let you know is that we're doing training in 2 weeks. Actually, we're going to try to move it up a week. And I'm also doing a private event. It's going to be in the city of Culver City. And just so you know, people just don't like driving. I know, I get it, but I'm coming from Ontario. If I can make it from Ontario, I think you can make it from somewhere else. And what we're going to be doing, for those that are already ready for this, we're going to show you how to decipher, and that's the word, how to decipher a CalSTRS retirement progress report. This is an actual staff member's progress report. You need to be in a position to be able to look like an expert, be an expert by deciphering this for them. And so what you see here is what I'm going to just switch it over the view to a single page. Let me go back over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a single page, and on a single page view is what you basically see right now. And this starts literally with the cover, the page that gives you the year, because it changes on a year-by-year basis. We're going to go over exactly the servicing credits that they need to know, that you need to know about, the breakdown of the defined benefit program, the account summary, that's what it's technically called, and how to decipher it, because the average person out there, the average teacher, has no clue what the hell they are looking at. And so we're going to break it all down. We're going to leave no doubt when it comes to the service credits as to how many years of service they have per CalSTRS. And as you can see here, we're going to do that. Now, I can do that with this one. Let me just make sure before. Yeah, it is. This one is redacted. So we took down all the birth year, the account numbers, names, and stuff like that. So we're going to be able to give it to you. Please don't ask me for it. The answer is no. The people that are going to get this are the people that are ready and are consistently plugging in. We're getting a lot of whining lately as it relates to people wanting stuff. Listen, if you don't know what it is, you're not going to know what to do with it. So it's not that we don't want to give it to you, but we want to make sure you're ready. At the Presenters Academy, those that show up and are ready to become presenters are going to get the PowerPoint. I get a lot of requests for the PowerPoint. There are some people that I did give it to because they're ready. But if you're not ready for this stuff, what the hell are you going to do with it? If you have no staff meetings planned, what are you going to do with it? So I want to make sure that you understand that it's not that anything's being withheld, but it's going to come at its due time. And that's what I just want everybody to understand. It's nothing personal. We just don't want to get you in trouble by allowing you to just do something you're not supposed to. So anyways, this is the CalSTRS, a full brand new I just downloaded it this past week, or the client downloaded it, and I'm going to give you a copy of it so you understand, again, how to decipher it. And what's really good about this is that it actually gives you resources to a consumer that you can access as an agent. And so by the time that they go visit any of this stuff, at the very least, you will be yourself well-versed in what they're looking at. and your stock goes up as an advisor as well. And that's why we want to make sure we do that. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it, because I want to make sure we do this in a very timely fashion. Any questions about anything so far? Please, this is the time to ask me about anything so far, so we don't have to come back to it.
So no more. This is Fernando. No more. So I was going to go out tomorrow and see if I could get some more schools like for
November. What I'm saying is, if you're not Monica, who has 7, or Reggie, who has 7, or I have 6, some of us have enough. No, but absolutely, if you're not there, we have some people that didn't open up any school, so yeah, they better go back out there. But what you need to understand, in the example of, let's just say, myself or Monica, a lot of these schools that right now she really needs to focus on making sure she's going to know how to close business, because we're seeing people this week already. However, a lot of the schools that she was trying to open up, that if she's not going to open up, I'm going to call her and see which of those schools we can remove off of the roster, so it could go back into the pool of schools. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There are some that she's just not going to want to do anything with. I have some I want nothing to do with. I'm going to delete them from my list. So if you're not working them, again, don't be selfish and just leave 10 schools up there all year long, and yet you're not opening them. It clearly means either A, you don't know how to open, or B, you're just not visiting them. And we don't want people who could maybe live in the area that could swing by more often not go because of that. So yeah, keep doing what you need to do.
Well, I added like another 5 or 6 to my list. Can I send those to you? Because
send them over to me.
I'm in an area nobody's in.
Sure you're actually subtracting the ones that you struck out at. Yeah. There's so many factors. I'm telling you right now, there's one school that I hate in Cudahy. I've hate that no matter who the hell the principal is, they always throw me out. And so I just took it off. I don't want anything to do with it. Maybe somebody has better luck, but don't just hog them. Let everybody else have a chance at it. And that's what I'm saying. Great question. Anybody else? Questions?
I have a question, Javier. So for the appointment, for the first appointment on Wednesday, do I give her heads up, or did you just say go? Don't say that a reminder, or just show up at my appointment time, right?
What I would do, there's 2 ways, 2 schools of thought, and you can do whatever you want to. I always let them know, not as a reminder in regards to, is it still okay? But I just let them know. I just wanted to let you know, I'll be in your class, I'll be in classroom, whatever, at 7 a.m. Thank you very much, because I have to see other staff members immediately after. So I will only take no more than 15 minutes. Let them know you're going to be there. Let them know the time, and let them know that you're not going to be there more than 15 minutes, because you're going to see other staff members. And that way they'll know what you're trying to say, that you're coming. So I always do it, because sometimes things do happen where the teacher happens to be sick or calls in sick or something. And that's the way I do it.
Okay, and just do that the day before, right? And then
just do the day before, and now the day before with you, because it's so early at 7.
Yeah,
but
7:30.
Usually, exactly. So I usually say the day off and simply say, "Hey, this is Javier, letting you know I'll be in your room at 1 p.m. I have to see another staff member at 1:30, so it will be limited to 15 minutes. Thank you," and that's it.
Okay, and then the other 3 that I call, text, and everything, should I say, "Hey, I'm going to be there"? Should I give them another one, or am I doing too much with reaching out?
Okay, here's what it is. Thank you for, that's a very good point. Let me bring this down for a second. That's a very good question, because all appointments we receive in a week's time, usually 7 days, we pull them back from the ones that you weren't able to book. Again, just like schools, there could be personality, maybe how we said it, whatever. No big deal. It's not a punishment. We just simply take them back, reassign them. But what I recommend to everybody is to A, make sure you get on the ball to get at least one in there. Do whatever you got to do. Like you have one on Wednesday. If they don't reply, if they haven't replied to you, then Wednesday is going to be your chance to walk the campus and look for them, basically, because you're going to have to give them back by Thursday. So before you do that, why not walk it? Maybe you get one more that says, "Oh, I just haven't gotten around to it. Well, I'm here right now. What day would be a good time to come back?" Now, one thing to remember when dealing with actual elementary schools, and that is that you got to find out what time school is out. And the school that you're going to, school is out at 2:30 every day. So what does that mean? That means that you know damn well that Monday through Friday, 2:30 works for all of them. They have no kids. They don't keep them after school. And so therefore, what that simply means is that for me, once I'm having a hard time, and they don't make them an appointment, I'm going to let them know I'm going to be on your campus this week to meet with staff. Which day works best for you at 2:30 p.m.? And then the last Hail Mary, drop by and see them. You don't have to go. Might be far, whatever. But after that, we're going to pull them back, and then we'll reassign them to somebody. And the people that we reassign them to are the ones that have no shame and no problem with starting by dropping into the school. There's so much money in it. I mean, I went with Red. We saw 3 clients. 2 of them I'm going to go back with him this week so you can see how I do it to submit the applications for 500. That's 1,000 combined. That's 9,000 target premium. And my contract, that's $8,200 I'm going to get. Damn right, it's going to be worth me getting in a car and getting one more, 1 or 2 more out of it. So sometimes the best way to do it is to just drop by. And so that's why I want to stress to everybody that if they're not responding to you, they made an appointment for a reason. And if they're not responding, and you're not the kind of person that likes to go just drop in and just simply say, hi, here I am. I understand that for some people, but just give them back in 7 days and we'll reassign them to somebody that will do that. Because otherwise, the last step is to just let the appointment go. And that's really a bad thing to do unless we absolutely have to.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions from anyone? About anything at all? All right, stop me, interrupt me if you do so we can get going. What you see here, what I encourage all of you to do is to go to the National Life Group portal, go in there and make sure you are able to sign in. It might ask me for a verification code right now because it does it from time to time. If you're not appointed with National Life Group, please do so and get appointed ASAP. Now, the flip side to that is that if you are not appointed with National Life Group or you cannot get appointed with National Life Group for whatever reason, then at that point, it's still important for you to get appointed with, let's just say, Anaco, even though we're going to talk the actual NLG. Let me just put this in here. We're going to talk about the NLG talk. You're going to do it under Anaco and just let them know that Anaco is also, a provider. You don't have to explain it to them, but you can still go as we go with NLG, but do it under Anaco and become well-versed. So what you see here is that I'm not going to get into it, but you should know how to run an illustration, for God's sake, especially if you're going to go see a teacher. But you're going to do the illustration. Now, for those of you that I go with, just so you know, there are some of you that I go with. However, I'm not going to get involved. Don't drag me into it. Don't get me involved. I'm just there to observe you, to make sure you know what the hell you're doing. And that's it. So don't ask me for a pen. Don't ask me for the worksheet. Don't tell me how you forgot this. If that's the case, just step aside, wait in the hallway, and I'll knock the sale out, and I'll just make the money. Defeats the purpose of having a team if they're don't know what the hell they're doing. So make sure you understand that very, very clearly. Now, when
so don't acknowledge that you're like, don't reintroduce you and be like, oh, you remember Javier, but we're gonna go forward.
You can do that. I mean, you can do that because remember, they'll know me very well as a presenter. That's what they're going to be
on my speech, on the script, and I was like, oh, Javier is going to be there, so do I acknowledge you or not?
Yeah, I mean, I would just simply say to go ahead and do that. Now, I will help you because most times they'll remember me as the presenter. So I might even be the one that introduces you. Just simply say, hey, I'm just here to shadow her because I have an appointment with another staff member later on, and we carpooled or whatever the case might be. But once you speak with the teacher, it's you. Don't get me involved.
Okay, got it.
All right. And like I said, this is very, very important. Now, when you go see a client, you already more than likely should have read the illustration. So we're not going to talk about running the illustration because we did a class on that already. And here I have a sample that I collected, that I ran an illustration with called Javier Sample. And so when you come in here, always, whenever you run an illustration, make sure you go up here under Save As and click that button, because if you run an illustration and you close your browser, that illustration just went away. And it's very embarrassing if you have the client in front of you when you're asking for the date of birth, this and that, and all of a sudden, you close it and it all got lost. If you didn't save it as, it's very important. So the whole purpose of appointment number 1 is to gather enough information to run an illustration. That's really all it is. Not only that, but we want to make sure we get their CalSTRS and whatever. You know what to do. But when you get home, first thing you're going to do is run an illustration, and you don't need too much. This is all the information you need to make sure that they go ahead and you can run an illustration. So this is what I ran with this one. George mentioned something very important about the protocol for Saturdays. And remember, I don't repeat myself. I'm not going to, if you missed the Saturday protocol on schools, he covered a lot of good info. One of them talked about, don't be the one, like I had several people that showed up to their auditions with a printout of the illustration. And immediately I said, you know what, let me just torpedo them right now. I tell them, okay, look, listen, I know I told you $300 a month, but I went home, I did some math, I can actually afford $500. So show me the $500 instead. And they couldn't, because it was printed out. That's silly. That's dumb. Don't be the one that does that, for the simple fact that you're going to paint yourself into a horrible corner, and then you're going to look dumb when you say, Okay, well, let's make another appointment. I'll come back with a printout of another 500. You don't want to do that. And so here in this example, you always want to be proficient. So if this is my client, by the time I'm showing up for appointment number 2, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I have it open, as you can see right now. I'm going to click on quick view because this is all I really need. And I'm going to simply say, look, listen, well, first of all, I have good news and I have great news for me. What do you want to hear first? I want to hear the great news. Well, the great news is that I was able to go ahead and not just meet the 80% retirement goal you wanted, but I got you to 82%. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Here, as we can have, you have that tremendous shortage, the gap, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, let me just show you something. With 400, you said maybe even 500, but I just left it at 400. That's the good news. I also saved you a lot of money. With the $400 a month, as you can see here, you have an initial face amount of over $250,000. So what that means is that the life insurance is just a very fortunate byproduct of the retirement plan we're doing. Just a bonus, because God forbid you pass away, your beneficiary who you designate will get $250,000 tax-free. Now, if you don't die, you just get sick. Well, the living benefits that I mentioned to you kick in at this point. Critical, chronic, terminal, you can actually advance yourself part of that as well. But let's get to the most important, which is why I'm here, your retirement. Right now, your 403b is going to give you about a whopping $180 a month every single year until either runs out or you die. One of the two is going to happen first. I was able to redirect those $400, which is $4,800 here. You can see $4,800 a year. And in this example, when you retire, instead of getting $180 a month, you would get about $890 a month, income tax free for the rest of your retired life. What do you think of that? Would you rather have $180 or almost $1,000? It's just simply incredible. I don't want to get ahead of myself though, because this is something that requires approval through the company. Now, based on what you told me, Mr. Client, I think you'll be approved, but I can't guarantee you that. But I would like to explain to you the process. And the process is we're going to take an application, keep our fingers crossed, see what the insurance company says. And my goal is to give you a call in a couple of days and tell you, Mr. Javier, congratulations, you've been approved. And then at that point, we know that you have this peace of mind, literally, for the rest of your life. All I'm going to need right quick. First of all, any questions about anything? No. Let's just hope I get approved. I know that. Well, that's what I'm telling you. I don't want to get ahead of myself. All I need is your driver's license to get the application going. Now, timeout. I'm taking time out because I want to explain to you guys something very key. 2 options. Option 1, do I take an application right here on the spot, or do I take a paper application and submit it when I get home, or do I just take a cheat sheet? And what I'm going to show you what we call a summary, because that's really all this is. I'm showing it to you right now on the screen. I can see Fernando, can you see that sheet on the, am I sharing? Yeah, okay. What you see here is just a summary. This is wrong. It's not an application. It says like it's not an application. But what it does have, it has all the information you're going to need to submit the application. Does that make sense? So on an absolute worst case scenario, if you capture this information right here, you will have enough to submit the application as long as you ask the basic questions. So when I'm talking to somebody, I'm asking me, here's the problem with the application. National Life Group took one long ass application and basically broke it down into the same application 3 times. And instead of pre-populating or transferring all the data from one to the other, they thought it was a bright idea to have to resubmit every single thing every single time. And so if you're not prepared for it ahead of time, you will be overwhelmed. So if I'm talking to Fernando, look, let's just keep our fingers crossed based on what you told me, Fernando. I have a good feeling. Otherwise, I wouldn't take the application. But let's take the application. Give me a few days for the company to review it, and I'll let you know what they said. Fair enough? Yes. Any questions, Fernando? No. Okay, well, do you have your driver's license? That's all I need to get the application. Yeah, sure. Here it is. So the question is, what are you going to do? Here's what I do. Now, if that took me 10, 15 minutes of my initial 10, 15 minutes, then I would just go for something like what you see here, or better yet, I would take the paper application, because the paper application has every single question that the electronic one does. So what I'm going to do now, let me go ahead and show you this. And bear with me, please. Hold on. We'll just go ahead and pull this up. And so what I'm going to show you right now, this is the application. Everyone here is going to get access to this right now. You better print out at least 2 of these bad boys and have them with you at all times. I'll give you both options. The summary, which is trash, is just not trash. It's just a cheat sheet. This is the application. So when you want to know what the electronic application looks like, well, this is the whole thing right here. This is the paper one. So as you can see, let's start with the most important thing of all. Do not go. The first thing that the electronic application will pop up, which I'm going to show you, is going to be what's called the agent report. The agent report is crucial because what the agent report does, it's going to ask you in the first page, is there another agent involved? Unless you opened up the school, you presented at the school, and you're closing at that same school, there will always be a split agent. If you forget to put the split agent, you cannot go back to this page again. So you run the risk of getting literally banned because no one's going to go work for free. And just because you say, you know what, Fernando, I'm so sorry, man, I forgot to put you down for your 25% split, man. But next time I'll get you, I won't forget next time. Doesn't work that way. So the first thing you're going to need to do is notify the person individual, because I get a feed from National Left Group on all the applications coming in for my team. And I see every single one. And so, if that does happen and it gets caught in review, meaning you never told us, that looks really bad. You're probably never going to get another lead again, just so you know. No questions asked.
Are they usually like 50% splits, or
is it?
Is it usually like 50% splits, or?
No. We want people to make as much money as possible, even though it's always arranged between the presenter or the opener and the closers. It's usually about 20 to 25%, depending on what they did.
That they get.
Yeah, the closer would get the 75% or the 80%. So it's more than fair.
How do you know that? I mean, do you have to figure that out ahead of time with the
this is very important, and this is why we're having the training today. If you get called upon to be a closer, we just called upon a few people to become a closer at tomorrow's event. We need to make sure that they have the writing numbers, meaning the National Life Group numbers for the opener or the presenter, depending who they're going to split with. Don't ever take an assignment without knowing who's going to be the opener or presenter and what their writing numbers are. Don't ever do that. So if I will tell you, but if I don't tell you, hey, Javier, who's the opener? It's George. Oh, do you have his writing numbers? No, but get with him. And that goes down at the bottom of the application and in the electronic format. So I would put here, agent signatures, Javier, I'm the closer. My name, print my name, the percentage, 75%, my agent number, phone, and email. Then down here, I would put George Munoz, his information, his agent number, his phone and email for 25%. That's how we split it. Now, theoretically, we can have 3 people. We'd never like to do that. We've almost never do that. But in theory, if Fernando, let's just say, opens up a school, and then I go in to present, and then George comes in to close, well, technically, George owes a little bit to both. But because if it's me, and I'm just speaking for myself, if you're direct to me, I don't take a split on presenting. I just don't. I would just get the hell out of the way and say, Fernando, split it with George because he is the closer. And then again, always know what that person's number is. It might be 25, it might be 20. It's purely driven by the market. And now that we have a lot more closers coming on board, we want you to also be in a position to say, I'm available to close for anybody. And what's your split? If you said mine says 50%, no one's going to get you. No one's going to use you. It's that simple. And if you have a magic touch where you close every single time and you do it for $1,000, okay, maybe it is a 25% or 30%. I don't know. It's whatever the hell people agree. So if you come to me and say, Javier, I need you to come to the Valley, I need you to present, and I need you to open up a school, and I'll put you down for 5%, you're goddamn crazy. I'm just not going to do it. I mean, and so everybody free to choose. Any questions about this portion? This is the first page of the electronic application. Once you lock it and move forward, you cannot come back to it. Understand that. Don't be that person, because I guarantee you there's somebody here who did not attend today's training that's going to do it, is going to get booted, and they're going to be whining, and that's on them, not on me. Any questions about...
To clarify, should I close the applicant on Wednesday, you were the opener. You don't want me to put 25%?
No. I do want to be, I am the opener, but what I'm saying, when there's three people involved, I was the opener. If we
Yeah,
had
so
called George Munoz to present, because I couldn't present, and then you are the closer, that's three people, that's too many. I would get out of the way at that point, but not when I'm, especially because right now, I don't know from the people who I brought on board who's even capable of closing. I haven't seen
right,
many of you close.
right.
I don't know if you can present. So damn right, I'm going to get my split because it's my gas money. Just to go show you. Usually, once we know that, hey, not everybody closes everything, but these are good people, then we'll make the adjustments at that time. But for right now, for the sake of, at the same time, I don't want anybody to ever come across that. If I tell you Reggie's going to go close for you, and you're like, what's he going to want to split? Well, of course he's going to want to split. The guy's driving there. I mean, of course he's going to want to split. So sometimes people develop this attitude of, why should I split it with anybody, period. Did you open it? No. Did you present? No. Well, come on, man. And like I said, some people are like that. They're hardwired to be greedy, and we want to find out sooner rather than later. Any
No
questions?
worries. So,
Javier.
so I'm so sorry. It was just one little pin.
Go ahead, Rochelle.
So it's we are doing 75% of the 72% contract that we have, correct?
Correct.
So okay.
75%. It ends up being that, but it's 75% of the target premium that we're splitting. Does that make sense?
Okay, but that right there is 72%. We start at 72%.
The gross target premium is going to be based on the sale, but it ends up being what you described. No matter how you slice it, you're going. Now, here's the key thing, and I hope you understand now why I emphasize to teach you how to open. Because if you open, then you get the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But I want to do it right. That's why I'm not doing that right now.
All you got to do in this section of the website or the paper application, make sure that you have 80% you, 20% opener. What if that happens to be the number, or 75% you, 25% opener? It has, as long as you put that down, the number that's spit out at the end will work every single time.
No worries. Okay, yeah. Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I just want to learn. The money will follow. I don't care.
That's
I just want to learn to do it right.
My income and money will be just a byproduct of doing the right thing.
So Javier,
excuse me, if we have an opener, the opener gets their cut. If we have a presenter, what cut do they get? And then we have a different close. Let's say we have three people.
We almost always will try to avoid that from happening because we don't want to water it down too much. I have never seen it. I know George has seen it, which is why he avoids it so much. But in theory, if you were to call me and but here's the way I would try to get you to avoid it. If you are, let's just say in this example, you're the opener, and then let's just say you don't or can or are not certified to present, then you're going to need a presenter. So if somebody George goes in to present for you, then it would just be a split between basically you and George, just like I just described. Now, if there are more closers involved, then you would just simply adjust it accordingly with George. Now, obviously, George, I'm not speaking for George, but he has to come out, from quite a bit away. So my recommendation to everybody, I'm working with Stephen right now out in the Valley. And if I'm going to work directly with Stephen, I want to make sure that he understands that he's going to be at the Presenters Academy. He's going to be a certified presenter for the Valley, probably by this weekend. I'm practicing with him. I'm working with him because I'm compressing everything, because I'll be damned if I go back to the Valley. I can't stand going to the Valley. It's a damn 2.5 hour drive for me coming home. So you think I'm going to go for 10, 20? It's not. It's just simply not worth it. But going back to what you're saying, in theory, let's just say you open up a school and you say, hey, I need somebody to present. Okay, well, that person might be Stephen. He's going to be in the Valley. You would probably tell me, look, Stephen, here's what I'll do. Present for me, and I'll give you some of the leads, and we'll call it a day. Will that be enough? Most of the time, people say, that's fine. That's fine. Just because of the fact that you give him the leads, you can reach that agreement with him. Does that make sense? In some instances, let's just say you use somebody else from the team that is going to help you close. Well, they're going to do maybe 20% split, but Stephen, you'll give him 25% split because he actually presented on top of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, do we have an agreement going into the enrollment before?
Every single time, never commit to taking a lead or to present or solicit anybody unless you're crystal clear. So the way I do it, I'll say, Danny, I've got an event out in the Valley. To be honest with you, I booked it. It's done. I have the date. I don't want to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you $150. I'll sell you $150 for the sports equipment because you're going to go down to 5 below, and it cost me $125. So I'm just for your gas money, I'll send you $150. And on top of that, I'm going to take a 25% split on anything that you close. Or if you just want to present, just take 20%. I'll take 20, you get the full 80, but then you get to present it to close as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that works.
Or you might say, look, tell me what, just give me 20% and I'll pay for the damn balls. It's all, but what I'm saying is always clear it up ahead of time.
Got it.
All right. And we're going to need a lot of help. You guys saw the calendar, so I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, any other questions from anybody about anything? George, anything you want to chime in on at this point? I think George is sleeping. George. All right, well, let's just continue. I'm going to go ahead. There you are. Go ahead.
No, I think it's pretty crystal clear. Again, it's just a matter of just communication to avoid any miscommunication. But getting back to your point about, printed illustrations, the other thing I wanted to add to that, don't even ever give a printed illustration, or heck, unless somebody asks you, I don't even give marketing materials, because one of the things that happens when you do that is you give the people time to think. So one of the things I want to emphasize to every closer when you sit down with the client, don't volunteer any material whatsoever. Keep it on your screen and at least give the impression that if they like what they see, the only way they're going to get it is that they fill out an application with you on that. Basically get the sale that way.
Perfect. Very, very true. Never, I carry no brochures. I don't even carry a business card. I carry nothing. I'm telling you, Rhett was there with me, and I'll invite some of you to come to my actual sales, my stranger sales, if you would, and you'll see how low-key, quick, to the point they are, because what they're really buying is you. If they say no, what they're really saying no to is you. And all the brochures in the damn world ain't going to change that. They didn't like you. They didn't trust you. Whatever the case might be, in some cases, in a lot of cases when they say no, but sometimes it's just not right for them. So as you can see here, I'm back in the illustration. So let me go back in character.
Javier,
Go ahead.
Javier, I have a point of clarity even before we get to the illustration. I was digesting this before I brought it to the table, but I really want to make sure I'm clear on what you said. If we have been working in schools, you said to stop working in schools and we wouldn't go back out until October to open schools. What about the schools that have made commitments that you needed to follow up with to get dates? Will we just hold those dates for October and present them to you at that time, or how does that work?
Great, beautiful question. Thank you for asking that. We're talking about two different groups for right now, and I don't like to do that too often, but we've got you, Reggie, George Munoz, people that have been doing this forever that already know what to do. I'm talking mostly to the newer people, if you would. And so for you, I know Reggie has 2-3 schools that need dates. Anybody that has anything pending, go grab them. By all means, go back and do that. And especially because I know you have most of your schools are still in the follow-up phase. I don't think nobody gave you a solid date. So by all means, do that. All I'm asking now, you're different because between you, Reggie, George, and Kathy, you guys can, if you open something up, you can present yourselves and you can do your own closings. A lot of the other people that I'm talking about that are the newer ones, they can't present. You know what I mean? They can't close necessarily yet unless they process second edition. So you guys are way advanced, and a lot of you here are ahead of the game. So listen to me. Please follow up on anything you have pending. We don't want to leave anything hanging. I will suggest it's going to be easier to ask for dates in October and moving forward than if you ask them for something in September. As you know, many a times their September calendar is done and sealed already.
Yes.
And so I would just, but don't ever, no. I'm not, and I apologize if I came across that way. If you have anything pending, by all means. Now, I'll go back over here if I can before I come back to this one. Let me just show you one real quick thing here. Oh, here it is. And so now, can you see this on the screen, the calendar?
Yes.
Okay. But there are some people here, like for instance, I'll start with myself. Now, let me just refresh it because they should be color coded. Here we go. Boom, boom. These are the ones that I worked and I opened up these 4. All me personally, I'm giving these back to the pool. I'm deleting. So if you refresh later today, everything except for what's in red for me, because I can't handle anything anymore. I just cannot handle it. There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to do that. However, like I said, like Stephanie Robinson, 0 days from her list. So she's probably going to be working on this for a little while, or at least longer, because there's just nothing there. The same thing with Walt. He has one, but there are people who have multiple. Monica is done. Reggie is almost done, because I know he's waiting on dates on at least 2 more. But if you look at Stephen Bryan, he's got only one.
I got the dates, Javier.
What's that?
I have the dates. I thought I sent them to you, but maybe I didn't.
No, you sent me some of the dates and the other to say you were waiting for, but whatever. The point is that if anything here is inaccurate, let me know. But the whole purpose of this tells people, hey, don't mess with anything in red for sure. And if it's not here, meaning we're going to delete a lot of these schools. If you're done, you're done. Or maybe we're going to throw them back into the pool. And there's 773 schools to work with. I'm bowing out. Monica's going to bow out. A lot of these people are going to be bowing out. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who, Stephen right here. There's a lot of ones that they have to go ahead and do. So by all means, work on anything you have going on. And remember, the communication is the key. Any misunderstanding, issue, challenge, let me know. Let me know, and we'll figure it out. We actually had one person here that was trying to open up a few schools that were on another person's list. And what I told them is contact that person, iron it out. That other person never replied. And by the way, some of the schools from that person's list, they never opened. They never approached them. But I still said, I would recommend just pick another 3 schools somewhere else. It's not even worth it. And so sure enough, they went to another 3 schools. Life was good. And the other person just never replied and never did anything with the schools. But the point that I'm making is that there's just too many schools. There's just too many. And at some point, I would encourage you to simply say, you know what, just delete half my schools, all my schools, whatever the case might be. But if you are going to work on them, by all means, tell me, no, my schools are going to stay because I need those 8, 10. Now, we're not going to call the South District and the West region, and I want the Valley. We can't do that. But as long as you are doing something with them, they're going to be your schools. Again, now we're removing schools instead of adding schools. I'm removing myself from this thing altogether. But if I do Taproot, which is what everybody here is going to learn at the Presenters Academy, because we're going to talk about that, how to keep yourself very profitable. If you're a presenter, there's no reason why you're not making at least $250,000 a year. Minimum. If you're a presenter and you're not making $250,000 a year, come to me. As long as you are open to being a big boy or a big girl and address the challenges that I see you facing. As long as you're okay with that, we're going to talk as adults. I want to be your coach in your success. I don't want to be your accomplice in your failure and say, yeah, you're doing a great thing, you're doing it wrong. No, it's impossible to make less than $250,000 if you're active. It's impossible. I don't buy it. And so therefore, that's why I want to just stress that to everybody, that if you need help, I have no problem with the strategy session, as long as we're going to be honest and direct about what it is you have done, haven't done, or need to do. And then I'll help you by staying on top of what you need to do as well. We can do the strategy session with anybody. That goes with anybody. So let me go back to this, and I'm going to wrap it up in regards to the actual application. So I presented this. I'm going back in character now. I'm talking to Fernando. And so as you can see, Fernando, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to overpromise you. So let me start with the application. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. In about 2 to 3 days, I hope to give you that call that teachers love to hear. And that is, Mr. Pius, you've been approved. And you're done. Perfect. Okay, let me just go. Now, here's, again, Mr. Pius, I do need to let you know my 15 minutes are up right now. What I want to know is it's going to take me around 15 minutes to fully complete the application. The sooner I take it, the sooner we know whether or not you got it. Can you give me about another 15 minutes? I try my best to only see people for appointment 2 that I know are promising. I have 2 appointments to go see this week at Park Avenue. And on both occasions, I'm aiming for 2:30 only. So you know how we tell you when you initially do the first appointment, and we say, "What I'm going to be on campus next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Which day works best for you?" If it's a promising one, I have 2. My 2 that I saw for IULs are very promising. I don't give them that choice. I'm going to be on campus next week, and it's going to take me about 15 to 20 minutes. but I can only do it after school. What day works for you at 2:30 next week? Because I know I'm going in for the kill. And I'm not meaning the kill. I'm just saying that I'm going in to help them. And the only way I help them is by taking, I don't do daytime applications when I know this is a slam dunk, which is about 70% of the people you see. I don't do that. So what day next week works for you after school? Because teachers are there from 2:30 to at least 3:30 to 4:30 in some cases, every single time. And then there's no pressure. There's no parents. There's no kids. There's no administrators. The principal's not there. There's no fire drills. There's nothing. We dance around with appointment 1 because we just want to get in front of them. My recommendation to you, appointment 2, if you know, damn, this is like the ones that I saw yesterday, the 2 for $500 a month, on both occasions, they're done. They're done. So I will only see them after school. I will never see them during their lunch period. I would never do it. And that's where all this pressure about, how do you do it? How can I do it? It's too long. It's too hard. Oh, listen, if you know it's a slam dunk, now there's nothing wrong with the third appointment. If you're going to see them during the day, don't push it for the application. You're not going to do it. You're not that good. Nobody's that good. Or you're going to see them during, like, we have a lot of appointments during 12:30 lunch. You're really going to see them in 30 minutes, give them the rundown, let them digest it, and take an application that's going to take you 15 minutes in 30 minutes. You're not going to do it. At least see them the second time during lunch, and then say, you know what I'm going to do is I have a few more appointments to run at another school down the street. I will be back today after school. Don't ask them. I'm telling you, I will be back here today after school. Can I have about 15 minutes of your time at 2:30? I know you got to take the kids out to the front of the school, drop them off. Yeah, but sure. Perfect. 99.99% of the time, they'll say yes. That's what you want to do. Now, what do you do? Very simple. You're about to make $2,000, $4,000, $5,000. You go down to the local movie theater, you watch The Haunted Mansion or something, and get some nachos, popcorn, a drink, and then at 2:15, you come back, and it's showtime. Very, very simple. You understand that you need to be making at least, now I'm going to be speaking to you guys a little more directly, because let me show you something so you understand how serious I am about this, okay? Let me just show you one thing. I just saw it right here. Here it is, here. Let me show you this. Here. I have been working like a dog to dwindle down the team to a manageable number of people. And we were at 350 at the convention for those that were there. I had dwindled my team down to 74 as of right now. And today, FFS, full downline, what's it, 300 downline. Right now, I'm down to 56, and I'm looking to take it to about 50 by the end of the week. Very, very simple. People say, what the hell's wrong with you? Well, I want to work and help. I'd rather have 20 of you making $500,000 or $250,000, let's just say at least, than people who don't know what the hell they want. And I don't care if they leave. I could not care less. I need to focus on people's income and success, lasting success. And I'd rather have, 10 Kathys or 10 Georges or 10 Reggies. And that's it. That's it. But people think about it and this and that. So anyways, I don't know why the hell I said that. But where was that? So the point that I'm making is that that's where this is going. That's where this is going. I've said it and I'll keep saying it again. I really need to reduce this dramatically. So that's what I'm talking about. Very simple. Where can we go make that kind of money? I don't know. So anyways, let me go back over here into the current NLG. Oh, damn, they didn't boot me out. Let's see. Oh, here it is. So everything's cool. I just need 10 more. I just need 15 more minutes to take it. I can do it in 10. I can do it in 8. But 15 minutes if you're slow, you're brand new. Then you click on the iGo eApp green button on the left-hand side. And that's going to take you to the actual portal for NLG, which is, it didn't throw me out. So let me just go ahead and log back in. When I go in here, it is going to take me to the actual iPipeline platform, which is where NLG manages their electronic applications. Very, very simple. So I'll go ahead and give it a second for it to load up. And here it is. It's going to ask you several questions that if you answer yes to any of these questions, it's right here. First of all, full application. We're not doing a conversion. eApp exclusions, these are it. and EAP limitations. If you have three or more owners, insurers, blah, 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 you can't do it. You have to do paper. So do any of these conditions apply? No, because if I click on yes, it'll prevent me from moving forward. Then when I go in here, you're going to see a couple of things. Remember I told you, this is the EAP. First thing is the agent report. Will it be completed in person? Yes. How long have you known them? 2 days. Are you related? No. Is this person proposed insured non-group employee? No. What's the purpose? Well, personal. And what do you want to do? Well, death benefit protection, if that's 99% of the time. Is it a qualified plan? Nope. And how is the amount determined? The face amount, budget, and illustration, whatever you want to put. Okay, so as you can see, this is the actual report. I'm clicking on next, and on the left-hand side, it tells you where exactly you are in the initial phase of the application. That's very important because I'll show you right now. Are there existing life with disability contracts? Do they have life insurance? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Now, most of the time they do, at least through work. Okay, to the best of your knowledge, is the insured intended to replace? We never replace anything. Unless it is a true replacement, and then you're going to have to do a lot more. They're going to notify the existing agent. We don't replace anything. We just don't do it. What did you use? Well, we use illustrations, which is already checked off right here. If you gave them a brochure, which I never do, you would check that right there. Are there any companion policies? This is referring to, maybe it's a brother, siblings. Yeah, the brother, sister, you say yes. I always say no regardless, because if you hit yes and one of the siblings, kids, get stopped for whatever reason, the processing, it'll stop the other one as well. And that's not a good thing.
I got a quick question.
Are there any companions? The answer is no, there are not. Is any proposed insured receiving any loans, valuable consideration? No, they're not going to sell it. Are you aware that any proposal has involved in any discussions, blah, blah, blah? Now, this is important because the transfer of ownership refers to what a lot of companies are doing right now when they're literally selling, if you would, viaticals, where they're selling, or life settlement, where they're selling the life insurance policies right away. No, the answer is no to that. I'm going to continue. And as you notice, green's good. You did it. Question mark is usually where you're at, and whatever hasn't been checked is what's going to be needed. Very important. Agent information, it's me. I have a agent number, so you're going to have to know it. Very important. And so you're going to put that. Agency number, you never change it. 3AY is FFS. That's how they know it. And then we're talking about your phone number. So this is very important as well. In regards to your phone number. Now, if I know what's coming, it's easy. What I usually do, whether it be for me or for my clients, when I get to personal stuff like information, I highlight it and I copy it, especially for my client's email, because I'm going to need it multiple times. Or here's the key for you. Make sure you're writing some of this info down so you don't look silly when you keep saying, I'm sorry, Mr. Paez, what was your email again? Okay, got it. Mr. Paez, I'm sorry, stupid system says me. What is your cell phone number again? 5555. Okay, got it. Okay. And you end up looking stupid after a while. Now here's very important. So this is why it doesn't fly. Unless you present it, and you're closed, you will never be at 100%. Now, if I did all three, like the one I'm going to go do tomorrow for the teachers, I am at 100%. I opened it, I presented, and here I am closing with them. Does that make sense? That's what 100% means. So for me, it might be, let's just say 75%. That's my compensation. Are there additional agents? Yes, because let's just say George Munoz is a closer. Oh, then you're going to go here. Click here to add. When we go here to add, I'm going to put the closers, or whoever the hell it is, openers, their information. And so you're going to need everything that you see here. Very, very, including the NLG or LSW code number that they have as well. So you need their agent number. And so we can go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch this back over here. Are there additional agents? No. So the 75 won't fly, because then that means you have to so that's what I'm saying. There's no such thing as a mistake, because you have to type in a percentage, 100%. Next. On a side note, if you forget to put somebody as a split agent, you're going to eat the taxes. Because if you owe them $1,800, you're going to give them the $1,800. Don't think you're going to 1099 them. That's your damn fault. So just don't do it. So anyways, so here we go. A lot of the stuff is grayed out. I can't change it because it got transferred from the illustration. And so here we go, 40, this, that. Backdate, no. Social Security, yes. Country of birth, USA. A U.S. citizen, yes. The last focus, no, you don't want to do that. Never open a can of worms. I don't know, 5 feet tall. I'm not going to do it, but whatever. 170 pounds. Now, here's another thing I will tell you. Always be generous and be kind when it comes to weight. In other words, this is not where you want to ask people, hey, fatty, how much you weigh? Listen, the way you do that, I always ask them, what's their driver's license weight? Because that's usually the nicest way to put it. And they give me that number. If I have somebody that tells me I'm I'm 5'7", and they tell me they weigh 250 pounds, just know, stop. Or that's a red flag of what's coming. If you are not aware, National Life Group will give you the chart, the height and weight chart for an average person. And you better start controlling their expectations immediately on the spot. Because if you put somebody who's really tremendously obese, then they're going to call them, they're going to send somebody to go weigh them to make sure you didn't make a mistake. So just use their weight. We don't weigh them. So if I'm looking at George, on a good day, what do you weigh? Now, keeping in mind that we have to keep it with the height and weight, what do you weigh on the good weight? Or, George, what's your weight on your driver's license? Everybody has a dream weight on their driver's license. 170. Done. But if I had put in there 250, just know it's going to get ugly, and it's going to at least cause a delay of weeks. They have to send somebody to get an appointment, weigh them, only to verify that, yeah, he's too fat. And then it's over. So why even waste your time? Are you a member of the military? No. Currently employed. Employment information. We need to know exactly who it is that they work for. Have they worked for 6 months or less or more than 6 months? What industry are they into? It could be, self-explanatory. Education, because they're a teacher. Now from here, that is the industry, but you'll see down here that there's actually a section for occupation under teacher as well. Does this person have a driver's license? Yes. If they don't, that's another red flag. So again, these are good ways of you kind of underwriting it out in the field. There you go. And so as you can see, there you go. There's the address. It'll check it for you. Best number to call will be the mobile. And guess what it's going to ask? The phone number multiple times. So I'm not going to get into the whole thing because here's what you are able to do. And there's the email. Just paste that one. Oh, they have to have their email. Okay, whatever. So
Javier.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, quick question. If they have a California ID and not a driver's license, do we just put that number in?
Yeah, as long as you put that they don't have a driver's license.
Okay.
Yeah, so the answer will be no driver's license. But then when it comes to form of ID, it'll be a government state ID.
Okay, thank you.
Is the address different from where they live? Sometimes yes, most of the time it's not. Is there going to be a joint owner? No. Is there a secondary address? Nope. And then from here, we're going to need the financial information and so on. Now, the point that I'm making is this. If you look here on the left, which I'm going to show you right now, it looks like I'm almost done. And it's very deceiving because, yes, I'm almost done with the first, what I call mini application. At the end of this, here at the end, I can jump, by the way, just to see different areas. What they're going to let me do is, it's just telling me it's not complete and it's not in good order. So you can't lock it. But what I'm saying is that once I'm done with all this information, the beneficiary, the coverage, the premium, and so on, what I need to do is go ahead and click on lock, boom. And when I lock this, nobody can change it anymore. But then when you think, oh, that wasn't too bad. That was only 5 minutes, right? No, now you go to the medical section, which is a whole section. Medical section, it could take as long as you want because what I always ask them is, anything wrong with you? Cancer, anything, medication? No, healthy? Yes, nothing, anything? No. And I just go, no, 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 no. There's like a million no's that you have to click on. But the point that I'm making is what you just saw me do. And guess what? When we start the medical one, it's going to ask me for a lot of the information that I have here all over again. And that's where we look a little silly. And so that's where you having some type of basic information, whether it be this that I just showed you right now, that you take it as you go, and you don't have to keep asking them over and over and over for the same thing. Does that make sense? And so again, this is the important elements of this. Now, this is crucial because once we have, like I said, and I notify everybody, just so you guys know, I'm notifying everybody over very specific communication, which is text. And the reason text is because it's faster. If you don't get the text, you know what to do. The reason that I'm emphasizing this over and over is because, again, when you look at certain dates or months, I should say, especially going into September, which is less than a week away, when you look at Teresa Hughes, I'm going to present, and might not, more than likely, I'm not going to close, but when you start to get into the 19th with the Anthony LeBlancs, the Reggies, the Chins, the Gene, Fernando, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 in one day. That if we average just 25 appointments, I'm sorry, we have to average at least 10 because we have some new people, which is not going to be 10. But you see what I'm saying? How the hell do we do this? And so that's why it's so lucrative for you to become an actual presenter or an opener or a closer. And in the perfect world, you can do all three if you are prepared. That's why we're putting so much emphasis on this for everyone's sake. Let's see. So you have to get. So okay, I understand. So we have to get on Mike's leadership call. Yeah, I told him that because he told me yesterday we were going to have a call from with Mr. Hatter, but he had told me that it was going to be at 11. But then he realized that he made a mistake and it was 11 his time, not our time. And so I'll give him a call and be able to do that. Any questions from anybody about anything? Please, I'm going to wrap it up at this point.
Really quick. So residual income, does that just go to you only, or does that go to both agents that split the deal?
No, it goes to both. Any agent that's listed on the actual agent report gets paid.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions from anybody? Here's my recommendation. What we're going to do next week, we're going to start it. My goal is to keep it to 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to go over every single lead. So those of you that have leads, you're going to have to be ready to answer up as to what's going on. Because if it's like, look, just take it back. They're ghosting me. We just take it back right away. Or whatever the case might be. We need to stay on top of it. You should never have a lead for more than a week, because if they're not replying within a day or two and they're excited, they just heard it and so on, maybe they just wanted to be in the raffle and are just, not interested. Let's leave them alone. The only exception is before you give it back, I encourage you, walk the campus, go to the class, and just drop in and do it that way. Any other questions from anyone?
Javier, it's Victor. I have a quick question.
Sure.
When it goes to a school, opening a school, do we give the monies to the nonprofit, or do we just buy the equipment first? How does that work?
Two choices. Option number one is to just simply go ahead and open it yourself, meaning you pay for the equipment. And then if you want to be if you are certified to be a presenter, you can present and so on. But if you're new and we're going to have to present, more than likely me or George, then what we'll do is we'll pay for the equipment, but then you're just going to put them on a split. So a lot of the times what I recommend to do is just buy the equipment yourself. If it's me and I'm available, I'll just do it, the presentation without a split. If it's convenient, close, and so on, as long as it's not too far.
I'm asking more for the tax advantage.
The tax advantage, you can just give it. The tax advantage is to give it to the nonprofit. That way it's 100% tax deductible on your end.
That's what I'd like to do. Okay,
there
perfect.
You go. Perfect.
Hey, Javier?
Right, sir. Thank you. All
Javier?
right. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Generally, on the application, they ask for the parents' age and stuff like that. And I usually say that, they're still alive, even though they pass away, whatever. Is that okay? Yeah, I mean, you got to be very careful not to open up a tremendous can of worms. If mom died of cancer at 50 and dad died of cancer at 60, the applicant is not going to qualify, more than likely. So I always say, look, don't even waste your time. And so that's a good point to bring up. There are some things that that if you answer a certain way, it's going to kill it. But the flip side to it is that, no worries, Jeff, let them know I'll be on the call as soon as I hang up here. I'm sorry. Thank you. And so again, I want to make sure that you understand that I would never put that, because in many cases, the parent's not even in the picture. They don't even know who the hell they are.
but you can kill the deal unknowingly by putting in certain information. I wouldn't put it. All right. Anybody else?
I have something really quick. I was one of the ones that waited a day too late to go back to the link because I got complete fog brain for the presenters event on Saturday. If there is anybody that drops and like decides not to go, I want to be able to like sleep in there.
Be on
So-
standby. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to send out an email with the link to get on the standby list right now. And
Okay.
that's why I keep saying, if anybody knows they're not going to make it, it is, a few people hit me up. Did you realize it was Labor Day? I know
Yeah.
it's Labor Day. It's just that we need to get it done sooner rather than later. But if you can't make it, there's a lot of people that can make it, even if it's Labor Day.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure, please do the right thing. Don't be selfish. Cancel your ticket so the next person on the list can go. Perfect.
Okay. That
All
way
right.
I can set everything up, but I'll wait for the link. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you so much. All right. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
Hey, if you already registered for the presenters, but you registered late, do you need to go on the standby list as well?
What do you mean?
Because you sent out the link and I, submitted it all to you, but I never got a confirmation that I'm going. Probably because I got there late. I had a funeral.
Apply, or did
that
you
got
get the
pushed
link
to the
itself?
9th.
I don't get it. Hold on.
Say it again.
Hold on. I mean, what I'm saying is that it's two different things. The first one, we were just trying to, let's see, hold on, please. And you gotta go, guys. We're done. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I just want to go over a few things with some people. But other than that, thank you so much. I know there's another webinar people trying to get to. Thank you. As of right now, did you get an Eventbrite link is what I'm saying, an email?
Oh, no. I don't
That's
think
what
so.
I'm saying. So
That's what I'm saying. But and usually I know you get that.
then I'm going to send out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a link today, letting people know, hey, if you can't make it, please cancel it. And for those that want to get on the waiting list, that's what we're going to do. Let me just look at this, because as of right now, attendees, check in. Let me see. Let me just pull it up and I'll get it to you. Okay.
Yep.
To get on the link. All right. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I'm sorry for going so late, but we had to cover multiple things that were very important. I really appreciate it. Anything comes up, give me a call. But until then, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much, everyone.